My name is Ivy, and I'm going to be telling you how to read the rings on the tree. From the time that a tree is planted, it begins its life. We'll be looking at a tree that was 62 years old whenever it was cut down. And that tree, I got that information from arborday.org. And then, just like whenever you fall and you get hurt, the same thing happens to a tree whenever it gets hurt. You get a scar, and the tree gets a scar. Things like forest fires, and then also whenever there's insect infestation or there's a drought, it shows in the rings in the tree. EOL.org tells us that what each layer is, and then how also the trees stay alive. Now this tree here is 12 years old based on the rings here, and the dark rings is how you can tell the age. According to theforestacademy.com, the outer layer is it's called the outer bark, and that protects the tree from extreme temperatures, insects, and also fungi. The next layer on the inside is going to be the phloem, or also called the inner bark. It conveys the food-bearing sap that's developed into the leaves. The next layer is going to be the cambium, which is a thin layer of cells that produces the phloem on one side and then sapwood on the other. Now sapwood is the living wood in the tree, which the raw sap rises from the roots into the leaves. The heartwood, which is almost in the center, consists of the old cells, and this is the dead part of the tree that provides structural strength. If air gets to that part, the tree will rot very quickly. And then the very center is called the pith, and that is the core of the tree. So now we're going to look at the tree that was 62 years old whenever it was cut down, and that's this here. So each marking will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then H. So we'll then start in the middle here. The tree was planted in 1920, and the very center here is the size of the seed when it was planted. And then B, as you can see, it goes out here as well. So B is going to show that there was no disturbance based on the thickness of the ring from the very center to the second part. The sun, it begins to grow in the spring and then into the summer. And then C is going to be when it was 6 years old, something had pushed against it, making it lean. And then the rings from there forward are going to be wider because it did have to build reaction wood to help support the lean of it, and that's why it goes out this way. D is going to be slow growth as it goes out here because there was trees around it and it didn't get enough sun or rain water, so it didn't grow as fast. And then once you get out to E, you can see that it did grow very fast with no interruptions like here because the trees were cut down, so it got enough sunlight. And then F here, you can see F. There was a forest fire, and that's a scar that it left. And so as the years go on, the tree builds out around it, and it heals the tree, but it leaves a scar on it. And then here, the spaces are a lot narrower because at that point there was insect infestation, hence why they cut down the tree. So now that we know what the 62-year-old tree looks like, let's look at another tree that was not as fortunate with its life than this one was. So this one here had a lot of damage to it. The rings are spaced here because of the good weather. 5 years of good weather shows bigger spaces. The narrow rings here show that there was a drought. This scar here shows that there was a forest fire, and then right after the forest fire, there was an insect infestation. All right, and then this here is going to go a little bit more in depth into everything. So point A is right here. That one, it appears to be wider on one side than it is on the other. That indicates that something had pushed against the tree. And then B shows that there was a lot of sunshine and it didn't have any problems with it. It grew normally. C, it shows that the tree had not had a lot of sunlight or water, so the growth of it didn't grow as fast as it did whenever it was younger. And then D is going to show that it did grow fast, but there was also some damage here. So it shows that there was a fire in there. And then this one's going to show that there was a drought, so it didn't grow as fast. And then also with the narrowing here, it could also indicate that there was an insect infestation in that tree. And so with the rings on the tree, that's what they do indicate, and it's going to be the same for every tree, but it's hard to decipher sometimes if it's a drought or if it's also insect infestation, because it does look the same. But whenever we have the damage to the tree, it's kind of neat that it does repair itself, but it just leaves a scar. So by preventing these things, we have healthy trees, and because trees also provide oxygen to us, we have to try to take care of the trees and know what it does to the trees. Thank you.